Then finally, I told her, hey, so instead of standing around here, why don't we just go back to my place and just chill back there? You know, it's right around the corner, so it's not even too far. I remember her really thinking about that for a minute, but then after like 15 seconds, she was like, okay, let's go. And then we chilled back at my place and had a really fun night. So it was a good time. Hello world, Prinse here, and welcome to my channel, Gentlemen and Scholars, where we discuss life, style, personal development, and so much more. So if you're new to the channel, definitely consider taking a look around, liking and subscribing, as it helps the algorithm, it helps the channel to grow, and brings us one step closer to facilitating that strong community. All right, so for today's topic, we're going to be going over my NoFap attraction story. This is one that took place about a year ago, and I thought it would be really good to share to sort of give you guys some inspiration and help you along on that journey. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. So before we jump right into the story, I figured it would be great just to share a little bit of insight into why I started NoFap in the first place. So for me, at the time, I was really tired of seeing women online, and I really wanted to place my focus towards finding the woman of my dreams rather than having women that I was, moderately interested in or just had low or mediocre interest in. And when it came to fapping, I always felt terrible about doing it afterwards, so it generally has never been that great of an experience for me anyway. Plus, additionally, I wanted to take advantage of things like sexual transmutation, which is discussed in books like Think and Grow Rich and The Way of the Superior Man. Using sexual transmutation, this would allow me to retain my seed and work towards my purpose and mission more effectively and really hone in on those long-term goals. Also, by not fapping, this would force me to put my energy towards approaching women in real life as opposed to being stuck on some fantasy online. So that was my mindset going into things. So with that said, let's just go ahead and jump right into the story. So the goal for me was not to chase women, but rather talk to the women that I would come across just living my everyday life. So I mean, this might be at the store, at the mall, at the park, etc. But one thing I learned early on was, in order to have the best success, it would be imperative that I set myself up for success. So in other words, let's say I needed to get work done. Instead of just doing the work isolated at home, I would go out to a library, a coffee shop, or some other lounge where I can get work done, where there are people, and more importantly, there are women. And I'm saying, if you want to meet really quality women, you want to put yourself in a position to meet them. So definitely keep this in mind when you're thinking about the places that you're spending the majority of your time. And that's exactly what I did. And anytime I would meet a woman that I really liked, I would go right up to her and meet her. And that, my friends, is where today's story begins. So on this particular day, it was really nice out. And I was working at a local library, but I wasn't inside, I was sitting out on the patio, so I was able to see the streets and the people passing by. So like I said, I'm just working, getting my work done, and then I felt like a woman looked at me. So I looked up, and it's this beautiful woman jogging by, but she's way over on the other side of the street. So she's jogging by, and there's really not much I can do in that situation. Plus, she had her headphones on. There was not much of an opportunity there. So I was slightly bummed about that whole ordeal, but I didn't let it stop me from getting my work done. So I went ahead and finished up my work. And then I got a call just randomly out the blue. So like I said, I sort of get this call as I'm packing up to leave, and I walk to the car, get in the car, and I'm just on the phone taking the call before I drive off. So I'm sort of sitting on the phone for a while, and I'm just hanging out in my car. But lo and behold, when I look down the street, she is coming back down the street, and she's on my side of the street this time. So she looked at me and saw me, and then sort of slowed her pace. So I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, this is a great opportunity. I'm not gonna mess this one up twice. So I took my shot, I poked my head out the window, and I told her straight up, like, hey, I think you are stunning. I wanted to meet you. Like, what's your name? Then she turned bright red. And then we started with the small talk. I don't remember exactly what was said, but not before long, I told her, hey, like, take my number, we should keep in touch. Pro tip, this is something I like to do because this sort of gives the power to the woman to reach out. So number one, you don't have to think about it, reaching out in the future. This sort of gives her the ability to do that. And plus, if they do end up reaching out in the future, this just means that they're really interested. So that's just something to keep in mind. But afterwards, I did not hear from her. I think it was for like 4 days. But then she randomly texted me out the blue. And instead of spending a ton of time texting on the phone, I just hopped on a FaceTime with her. And then right afterwards, I ended up setting up a date to meet. To fast forward to the date, we did something really simple. We went for a nice walk down on this lake that I really like. And it was really scenic and it was a nice day. And we sort of talked for hours. Well, she sort of talked for hours, I just listened. After a while, the sun started going down, so I said, hey, like, why don't we go to this water ice spot? So we went and we grabbed water ice and we continued chatting for a bit there. So it was just a really nice, chill date. Then finally, I told her, hey, so instead of standing around here, why don't we just go back to my place and just chill back there? It's right around the corner, so it's not even too far. I remember her really thinking about that for a minute, but then after like 15 seconds, she was like, okay, let's go. And then we chilled back at my place and had a really fun night, so it was a good time. And then afterwards, we went on to date casually for months. So, I mean, that's my NoFap story. And really with this one, I just wanted to show you, what's possible if you take the journey seriously and you really focus on not only NoFap, but just becoming the best version of yourself possible and definitely working towards your purpose. I mean, you can really meet some awesome women and have great experiences that your peers won't begin to fathom. It begins with you being the best you can be and doing the work to get there. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. If you do have any questions for me, definitely feel free to give a shout. Definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. That is extremely important. And definitely let me know down below, what you guys think about this one. Do you guys have some stories of, situations that you've experienced in your life that you would like to share? I would love to hear them. So definitely let me know down below. Until next time, gentlemen and scholars.